Hi there, I'm Cailen Ascher, and these are the Clarity Confessions. Every show, I sit down with top female entrepreneurs and get them to confess their best and most inspiring secrets for creating soulfully expansive success on their terms. If you're ready for a heaping dose of clarity, inspiration, and feel-good strategies to move you forward in life and business, get ready. It's time for our next confession.
Today on the show, we have Leimomi Keliikuli. She is an intuitive soul alignment coach, and she helps soul-driven women to up-level with ease and epic time by teaching them how to align their soul's divine soul blueprints and to manifest whatever they desire by clearing their invisible soul-level blocks to success using the Akashic Records. She shows them how to have it all, to step into their soul-aligned leadership, to have more fame and fortune and impact, while impacting millions and staying in alignment with their soul's design. Really cool. She is a psychic monk. She's been one for 10 years, since the age of 21. She's retired her husband from his 9-to-5 this past January, and she is now the sole breadwinner for her family. She helps soulful entrepreneurs to become the embodiment of Source and step into their soul-aligned leadership, into soul alignment and business alignment. Leimomi, thank you so much for being on the Clarity Confessions today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share amazing content today.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I would love to just hear a little bit more about how you got started on this entrepreneurial path that you're on.
Originally, around November 2016, was about 2015, I actually just launched a webinar. And I just had this one idea, which was if you align to your soul's gifts, then you can absolutely be successful. And boy, was I right, because that webinar was the first time that I ever, created a 10K month, and it became actually an 80K launch. And from that, actually, it allowed me to have the freedom from being a stay-at-home mom to retiring my husband and then stepping into my soul-aligned leadership.
Oh, that is so brilliant. That's amazing when you just kind of heed your soul's calling and it brings you that level of abundance. That's remarkable. So I would love to kick things off with a few rapid-fire questions to sort of break the ice. Are you ready for them?
Yes.
When did you get clarity about your business?
It was absolutely when I decided that I am a business owner, that I am a leader in my industry. And when I stepped into that leadership role, I noticed that everything I did in my business just absolutely became abundant.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that there was a decision there. It's I decided I was the leader and therefore I am.
Yes.
So can you describe your business in 10 words or less?
I basically actually initiate soul-aligned leaders into aligning to their soul's calling.
Why do you love your work?
I love it because everything I share with my audience is really about reconnecting to Source and being the embodiment of Source.
And so what makes you feel the most successful?
Actually, my story goes way back about being misaligned in my purposeful work. And once I actually decided to become connected to Source, that was actually when I make actually 10 times more income and impact in my life and my business.
So what personal practices or self-care do you try to make time for regularly?
I love walking, just taking the time to reflect and to make sure that I am in alignment with what I feel the most important thing to do for the day. And the other thing that I love doing is just laying down flat for 10 minutes, putting my hands on my heart and just loving my presence.
That sounds so relaxing.
It is.
What is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
That you can absolutely have it all. It was one of the biggest things that I had to decide for myself, that if you really want to share your gift and do your divine mission, that freedom is your sovereign right.
And so what is then the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur?
I guess like the inconsistency of whether or not, like, can I do this? Like, do I really believe in myself? You have to completely keep asking yourself that question. And if you don't believe in yourself, it's very hard to keep going as an entrepreneur.
For sure. That is a tough one. So here's the last question for you. What is one word that sums up your business mission?
Sacred space. I'm all about creating sacred space and love and healing and connection.
Oh, those are fantastic. Sacred space, it sounds like somewhere you want to be. For sure. So you mentioned a little bit about the webinar that kind of took on a life of its own, became this amazing month for you and an amazing launch. So was that truly when your business started, or had you been working for a while? Like, give us a glimpse at how you really entered into that.
Actually, I was just looking into what I wanted to do in the first beginning months. And I hired a coach, and, I did all of the courses, and I got really overwhelmed, and I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do that. And it became very, not me. So I actually had to disconnect from everything and just decide I'm just going to create a webinar or something that really feels so good for me to share right now. And once I had that clarity, it was bam, everything all was in alignment. I became in full practice, overnight. Wow. And I was helping over 60 some clients in just a short period of time.
Wow, that is not a story that you hear very often. I have to say, I ask this question of a lot of guests, and a lot of them are, it started really small and there was a lot of confusion, and it sounds like you just kind of hit the ground running. You were just launched out of a cannon. So with that kind of energy entering into your business, what unfolded thereafter for you? Over the next 12 months, what did that first year look like?
I'm actually in my 10th month, so I'm not actually in business very long, but it absolutely changed my life. Everything became abundant. There was, of course, lots of struggles because I had to rebrand and realize that I don't really like talking too much about business, but I love talking about spirituality and going way into my spirituality, and that's when I really started to soar.
Fantastic. So what is an obstacle that you had to overcome, whether it be an internal obstacle or a seemingly external obstacle that felt like it was in your way on your path to success?
Well, the number one thing that came up for me was I was going through an initiation with Source, and Source was actually giving me the opportunity to serve in a bigger capacity than I was doing previously. And during that time, it was my health went bad. I had I was very unclear of what I really wanted. And that was the time when actually I got the most clear about I really wanted to initiate people into this new way of living, into a more multidimensional nature. And then once I stepped into my leadership role in that way, that was when I, received an even bigger mission, which was to create the Maui City of Light Collective, which is what I'm doing right now.
Oh, how fantastic. So you've mentioned Source a few times now, and I'm up on that, and I think a lot of people who are a part of my community are too. But do you mind sharing what Source means to you when you use that word?
To me, it's actually about really reconnecting with God, the God inside of yourself. And that kind of leadership actually comes out when you feel on fire. So actually, the way that I think of Source is that feeling when you're on fire, where you're just totally in alignment. You're I'm so happy to be here and loving my presence and making an impact. And
so is that something that you feel like you have on a pretty consistent basis now? Because I know that's something so many women and entrepreneurs struggle with, is finding that consistent connection to Source.
Absolutely. It took me a while to actually realize how that feels like for me. And I think it's when you really ground yourself into your own divine foundation, like find your unique way that you connect to source, that is when you really start to be on fire. And that feeling just grows and grows. And every time when I think about what I can do and be of a bigger impact and outreach and all the different things we do in our life and our business, it all came to a head, which is like, I know that if I am connected to source, I will be given every person, place, or thing would just show up. And sure enough, that's what happens when you're connected to source.
So if there's someone out there who's listening and thinking, that sounds fantastic, I would love to be in that zone of inspiration, feeling on fire, feeling that alignment, but I don't even know how to step in that direction. Do you have some guidance that you could offer for them to start hearing that call of source in a more clear way?
The first thing I usually recommend with any of the people that follow me is like, get into the feeling in your heart, because absolutely source is in your heart. So I like to do, like I explained, that meditation, which is just like lay down flat for 10 minutes, just connect with your presence and the feeling of divine love. When you awaken to that frequency of divine love, you'll be able to call in like source energy, and you'll start to feel the flow in your heart. And that's what I call the golden source of light of creation, when you're just in this like energetic sacred space in that frequency, and everything you need to know right now will just come out of your heart.
It sounds like a beautiful practice. And you said that's something you do very regularly, correct?
Oh, I do it every night. Otherwise, I don't think I'll be able to function.
Yeah. And also, I mean, this is your business. I mean, this is what you're teaching to people. So if you weren't using your own tools and your own techniques, I think, it would definitely impact, the results your clients would be getting for sure.
Absolutely.
So what is something that you are really excited about or really proud of that's going on in your life or business right now?
Actually, I'm doing grid work. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically where, like how you have any kind of clearing or energy work that you may receive, or give to a person. Well, I do that on the earth, and I do it on Maui now that I live here. And every weekend I go with my family, my husband and my 3-year-old son, and we actually go to different ley lines or heiaus, which is kind of like historically significant energetic vortex points. And I clear out the energy, and I also connect them to a bigger grid in order to bring out this remembrance of the Maui Light Collective. And that has been so amazing to be able to serve and create this sacred space for people to heal and to bring out their inner light. And that's what I'm really, really passionate about right now.
And so you mentioned the Maui Light Collective before. Is this something that you've started or something that you are a part of? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
So remember I said about I got initiated from Source. There was 2 big divine missions that I was given, which is to create the City of Light, or I called it the Maui Light Collective. And the second thing was initiating the soul aligned leaders, the new leaders who will become the Source ambassadors. And so when I received those 2 missions, it absolutely changed everything I did in my business, in my life. I was like, wow, so what does that really look like? And I had to reframe my messaging and my marketing and everything. And I realized I really, really love like helping people to create these sacred spaces and to reconnect with what Source has to give to them and what is their divine mission. And so that's kind of what kind of unfolded from that. And I've been doing that, creating this light collective in just a very short period of time.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. So if you were to offer us a piece of advice, like what is something that either has been shared with you or something you love to share with your clients that you feel like is really helpful for people to hear?
Number one thing you need to know is that your soul is energy, right? So we actually have a primary and a secondary type of gift. And That type of gift is what you actually want to align to in order to create anything in your life and business. So like, for example, my energy is divine love and power. So this is why I choose to talk about soul alignment and talk about stepping into one's leadership, because that's very, very much aligned to my soul's gifts. So you actually need to get into the frequency of what you believe that your life and business should look like, whether that's power or order or truth or wisdom or self-expression or love. Like all of these type of energies is the ultimate thing that you want to align to every day. And listening from that calling is how you're going to know what to create in the rest of your life and business.
And so you mentioned, getting into that frequency. So is that something that you would use, that meditation, that practice that you outlined previously, or is there another way that you would recommend to kind of tap into that frequency to figure out what your soul's gift is?
So the fastest way is going into your own Akashic Records. Everybody has access to it. It's basically the Hall of Records. It's the place where all information is stored, and it's like a library. It's just taking in information, just like how we Google and we look things up, right? If we say dogs, like we need to know what specific kind of dog do you want to look for, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing when you want to look into your unique frequency and you want to connect with that energy, and that energy is going to come through you and it's going to come right through your heart.
So when you're mentioning these Akashic Records, how do we need someone to facilitate that for us, or is it something we can do on our own?
You can absolutely do it on your own, and obviously you can also have someone else to help you to feel that. But we all have access to it, and it's something very private to you. So when you feel into it, it's a very intuitive way of practicing it, because all you need to know is just to have a very, very clear intention about whatever you want to know about. And so when I do that and I clear soul level blocks that, maybe keeping you from being very present in your life, it's the same kind of thing. Like if you want to know any good information about your past, present, or future, it's all there, and you just want to connect with it.
That's so fascinating. I think it's remarkable how all of the answers are really within ourselves, and it's just a matter of getting out of our own way and peeling off the layers and allowing that truth to kind of come through in its own way.
Absolutely.
And so looking forward, what does the future hold for you? What is something that you think will be coming down the pipeline in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Well, there's two major things. Remember, as I got initiated from Source, I definitely want to create my own TV show, and so that I could share this message and share this energy of Maui now that I'm in the right place at the right time. When you just know when you're just there. So now that I've come here, I feel like I want to be an activist in creating all of these sacred spaces and doing more of the grid work, or bringing more community and people together. So I see myself as a sacred space Native Hawaiian activist and a leader. And I want to be really well known in my local community, but also worldwide, into sharing this bigger message of being Source and being connected to Source in this way.
So fascinating. So before we close up our time together today, where can we find you? Where can we connect with you further?
Yes, you can go to my website, which is www.leimomikeliikuli.com. And there I have all of my services, and I also share my blog. I share about all of the things that I'm doing with the grid work here on Maui. I share about, also I have this Divine Business Gifts quiz that will actually pinpoint what your niche is and where you find peace in your life. And this quiz actually came from, remember I said I had over 450 people that I did free strategy sessions for in past like 4 months. And by looking at everybody's gifts, I was able to pinpoint what exactly your soul's gift is. And so this quiz, actually, I was able to type people into these three kind of types of where you really find that inner peace and where you find your soul's calling. So this quiz, and I also share a video series after that to kind of help you to really pinpoint what your soul's gifts are.
Oh, that sounds so helpful. I think there are so many people who could really benefit from doing that. So anyone who's listening who feels that, what Leimomi's been talking about is resonating with you, make sure you head over to her website. I'll include the link and everything you need right below this interview so that you can connect with her further, check out that Divine Business Gifts quiz so you can get more clarity, to use a word from my neck of the woods, about what is your soul's purpose, what is this calling of source for you. So Leimomi, thank you again for your time, for your wisdom. It's been such a pleasure connecting with you.
Thank you. I'm so honored to share this message to the world.
Oh, thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey ladies, I am back and I have got something super exciting to share with you. After enjoying a beautiful, soulful maternity leave with my new baby girl, my 2-year-old daughter, and my husband, I am again reopening the doors for one-on-one coaching. I'm taking on a very small handful of select one-on-one clients, 4 clients to be exact, for summer coaching sessions, and I wanted you to be the first to know. So if you are ready to partner with a coach who can help you transform your big vision into a clear plan of strategic, feel-good action and create success on your terms, I want to hear from you, and I would love to explore working together this summer to set you up for a fantastic fourth quarter and unprecedented 2018. So if that sounds good, you can apply now at CailenAscher.com/summer sessions.